Welcome all sports fans, YouTubers, Facebookers, all social media across the nation. This is Uneducated Sports Talk presenting college casual football talk. My man Brian Wilkinson is back in the house. What's up, baby boy? Yes, sir. I'm your host, Carlos Clayton. Let's get this started, man. So we had the New Year's 6 games going on, and we had our playoff games going on, most importantly. A lot of things to break down, go through. So, first of all, Happy New Year's, everybody.
Happy New Year.
Yes, right. Happy New Year. So, New Year, same old tendencies we see from these players. Let's go down. Let's start with the Peach Bowl first. Get it out the way quickly as possible. Florida versus Michigan. The downhill of Michigan just after getting beat down by Ohio State. We did not see that beatdown coming, but we also didn't see this beatdown coming. Well, I didn't see it.
No,
Florida wins 41-15.
Somebody needs to fire Jim Harbaugh. I don't know. I've heard rumors that he's trying to get back in the NFL.
Yeah.
If he is not fired from Michigan this offseason, he definitely will be fired next offseason. So he better find a job quick.
Well, I'm saying there's like 8 jobs in the NFL available. Like head coaches got fired like at 7:00 that Sunday when all the games over with.
It is ugly. You can beat up on the lower Big Ten teams all you want, but if you're not beating Ohio State and you're not winning postseason games, you're as good as gone, buddy.
I mean, not to just beat down. So that's going to be a tough recruiting sell because, like, man, you got slacked by Ohio State and Florida. Hey, shout out to Florida, though. 41 points in a bowl game against a good Michigan team is not anything to sneeze at. So, I mean, they came out there and they played their butts off, man. So, Florida wins that 41-15, and Jim Harbaugh might see his final years come through, be the over with Michigan. Let's talk about the New Year games first. We can talk playoff games in just a moment, but we'll talk about New Year's 6 games. LSU versus UCF. All the hype going on by UCF trying to, overthrow the Goliaths and all that stuff. But they caught a little unlucky break when their starting quarterback went down Mackenzie Milton 2 games ago. And LSU also came on a kind of even plane because a lot of guys, Greedy Williams, one of their DNs, and a lot of guys were out for the games, either focusing on the draft.
A lot of defensive players.
Yeah,
that's the key point there is a lot of defensive players for LSU.
Yeah.
Choosing to sit out, preparing for the draft, getting ready to go and make some money.
That's right.
And it showed. UCF put up 32 points.
I don't fault anybody for doing that, by the way. Never
UCF
did.
put up 32 points, but Joseph Burrow. I mean, UCF doesn't have the best defense in the world, but it's not every day that you throw for almost 400 yards.
Thank you. And it's not every day you see LSU quarterback. Yeah. Regardless who's the quarterback, throw almost 400 yards. He did an exceptional job. Look, he took what was given, and he made these smart plays and very accurate throws when there were people on him. So that's what I liked about him. It was very accurate when there were people around him and people covering his wide receivers. That being said, they had a lot of defensive guys down, so they were basically playing third and fourth string. Their secondary cornerbacks and their safeties were all in it. It got chippy in the beginning of the game. UCF went out to a 14-3 lead and had all momentum going in, and then just boneheaded plays from the players and then unsportsmanlike conduct penalties. When you're already the team with the less depth as it is, they try to play the bad guy in my opinion, and that basically hit him in the ass pretty much. LSU was deep, and even the third and fourth string guys, although they let a couple big plays go up, they did what they had to do to win the game, and they win 40-32. Don't let the score fool you. It felt like it was more than 8 points, but UCF, like I said, give them kudos. But the second string quarterback, they went out there and
Joe Burrow has a lot of professional potential.
Yes,
he's got the leadership skills. He's dug him out of holes time and again this year. If he just works on the accuracy and a little bit of the mechanics and decision making, he's got good potential. He's got a lot of stuff to work on next season. He will be back next season. So LSU's next season coming off of this win, looking bright. Looking bright.
Would you believe me if I told that was Joe Burrow's 3rd Fiesta Bowl?
That's crazy.
Yep, 2 for Ohio State, which he did not play at all, and 1 for LSU. So he's seen the big games, and he's finally got his chance to be in the big game. So shout out to Joe Burrow, 394 yards, passing, 4 touchdowns. He threw a pick 6, but that was in the first quarter, a long time ago.
Yeah.
So LSU dethrones UCF. They're undefeated no more. Their 25-game winning streak is over with, but they have a 26 game streak of scoring 30 points or more. So they got that to hang over their head. So, and not every day you score 32 in LSU, regardless what's going on. So, but LSU big win, and good for them. Like you said, might be better things going down the road for them for next season. We had our Rose Bowl, which was a very entertaining game in the fourth quarter. Ohio State wins 28-23. Urban Meyer's final game as a head coach. I'm not believing it.
We'll see.
I'm not believing it.
Definitely his final game at Ohio State.
Definitely, yeah. He just got tired of another program and wants to build it up again. It was Florida. Now it's Ohio State. You never know where he's going next. But Ohio State wins 20-23 and had control of this game, 28-3 going into the fourth quarter. Let's talk about Dwayne Haskins. We had Justin Herbert declaring, not for the draft, but declaring that he's staying in for his senior year at Oregon, which makes Dwayne Haskins the number one quarterback in this year's draft. In this game, 25-37, 251 yards, 3 touchdowns against a very, very good Washington Huskies secondary. That is nothing to sleep on. How do you feel about this game, Dwayne Haskins' chances of the NFL as well?
I mean, that was not what I envisioned, but I had Ohio State winning. And just Urban Meyer gets his guys ready. It was his final game. You just knew they were going to win. But again, Washington, a very game squad, very good defense. I was just really disappointed by the snoozy first half.
Yeah.
Especially with Dwayne Haskins being he's just so inconsistent. He's too much Brett Favre for this. You see a lot of guys kind of leaning that way, Patrick Mahomes, cough, cough. I hear you already. I don't want to talk about that right now, but he's a little too much Brett Favre for me. Obviously, the experts all think he's the top quarterback, and I'm not going to try to argue with those guys here because he has the arm. He's definitely got the decision-making skills. He's got the wheels for it.
Well, let's be honest. In this particular draft class, coming with quarterbacks, it's not the best. So you got to have someone who's going to be number one as a quarterback. So you might as well throw him out there.
Might as well be.
Yeah. So, hey, Haskins, he did what he did, 3 touchdowns. And I guess a great wash. I say great because they have a really, really good second over the last 4 or 5 years. Chris Peterson has brought in a wonderful talent of secondary play for this Washington Huskies team. And Ohio State gets the victory. Urban Meyer, do you really believe this is his last year? Is he done? His wife came on. She said, it's time for him to come home now. I mean, he needs to come home. I'm pretty sure he said that when he was sick for Florida, too. You said the same thing, lady.
You know what? I think it might actually be.
I mean, it could be. If it's health reasons, I hope he gets this, taken care of. But I rate him. I think if he woke up tomorrow and he felt very good again, he's going back to coaching. Maybe not Ohio State, but he's going back to coaching.
Definitely wish the best for him if it is health issues.
Yeah.
If it's not health issues, he can't afford to slip up again.
Yeah.
You slip up one more time, and now you're not going out as Urban Meyer with all these championships and great squad. You're going out as a guy who's perennially lied to everybody in the business.
That's what it feels like.
And that's just a bad look.
And it's kind of like he's trying to escape it.
Yeah.
Let me just escape that, and let me come back in about 2 years and find a great program that's hiring for someone like me. In my opinion, the shocker of the week was Texas beating Georgia.
Such a crazy
28-21.
Because first of all, I don't think anybody expected Texas to be in the Sugar Bowl.
No,
I don't think anybody expected Texas to be picked for this game, and then to come out and play the way that they did against Georgia.
But the Sugar Bowl is usually the best from the SEC versus the best from the Big 12. But since both of their guys, Alabama and Oklahoma, were better than them, they had to still come to the Sugar Bowl. I think that's how it goes. So it's the second best of each squad. So it's kind of, but I didn't see Texas really being in this kind of game if things were like regular. But since it's the playoff now going on, Texas.
But we got a good game.
Got a great game.
Nonetheless, regardless.
Yeah, Sam Ellinger and that Texas program, they're cooking up something. And look, I was harsh on the coach earlier. I was like, come on, Tom, what you doing, baby? What you doing? But they proved to me this year, they come up to competition, and they got a few games where they were down with competition, but still won. A la beating, I think, Kansas 19-14 was at Kansas State, something like that. So they snuck by a few games, but outside of that, this Texas team, they played like some games. They were more ready than Georgia, and we saw from the mascots before the
Absolutely.
game.
Bevo was not having any of it.
He was
man.
going to stuff the poor Georgia Bulldog.
I was afraid for the media people out there, man. The media people about to get hooked real
He was
fast.
ready to beat that Georgia dog. He saw that red. What he saw. When Bulls see red, it's over with. So look, from the beginning, that kind of like gave me chills. I was like, that might mean Texas could come out here and punk Georgia out. And the first drive from Texas, I mean, literally, was it 7 plays, 75 yards, touchdown, like
They're
that.
a dangerous team.
10 plays, 75 yards and touchdown. I knew they were up for the challenge right then and there. I think I picked Georgia to win, but man, now everyone's saying with teams missing out on the playoffs now, and they come out, they just don't want to be there because they're so close. I don't want to hear none of that.
Nah, that's garbage.
Which is kind of true. It's tough at the same time. Once you're in the game, that all goes out the window. Maybe preparation might be a little low. Maybe you're just juice for wanting to be in the game is a little low. But once you get in the game, I believe,
especially when you're playing that New Year's Six.
Yeah, the whole world is watching regardless.
That is the cream of the crop of college athletics.
Yeah.
The New Year's Six football. That is the spotlight for college athletes. You're going to come to play that game regardless of whether you made it the playoffs or not. You're coming to play right now because this is the biggest stage you're going to be on.
Because I was thinking when Auburn played UCF, the whole thing was Auburn wasn't ready to play. But I knew that LSU was ready to play because they had been out the mix for a while now. Yeah. So I said, well, and then they get the right team, UCF, who's this undefeated team that's claiming fake championships. So I knew that LSU was ready to play. And you kind of saw the difference in between both squads, LSU this year and Auburn last year. But then I'm like, Georgia is, like you said, it's still a big game against Texas, and it's on the spotlight. You're on the biggest stage, not to quote the Rose Bowl, but you're on the biggest stage, and everybody watching. And it's a chance for you to make a name for yourself if you're trying to go to the draft, if you're trying to be drafted, if you're trying to move up next year and be a starter. That kind of thing play an effect as well. So there's really no excuses for Kirby Smart and his squad.
No, this was just really a tale of Texas offense being better than Georgia's offense. Tom Herman, the man scores points any which way he can get them. I know that Sam Ellinger didn't throw I think he threw for 160, but he ran for 3 touchdowns. Yeah. These guys find ways to score, and Georgia plays a more SEC style. Like, Jake Fromm played a good game. He was 21 completions, 224 yards, couple of touchdowns. It's not that he played a bad game. That's what they asked him to do.
Yeah, exactly.
They just got outplayed. Their defense got outplayed.
Sam Ellinger, the first Texas player to rush for 3 touchdowns in a bowl game since Vince Young, against USC. So that was kind of like, wow, all right. Texas hasn't reached that many bowl games lately. But no, so good win for Texas. They shocked me. Another shocker we're going to talk about, briefly going to talk about it, Kentucky defeating Penn State by a score of 27-24. They ran it down the throats the whole game.
The whole game?
The whole game. Every time I looked around, I saw a highlight because I was not watching the game, to be honest. But I saw the highlights. I was like, man, okay, Blake Snell is just eating these guys up. Penn State was not ready for that physicality. And Penn State was a team I thought was going to really show out because it's their senior's last game.
Yeah.
The quarterback last game of his collegiate career. And I thought, man, they're going to come out there and just show off and just put up like 45 on Kentucky. No, that defense.
Did not happen.
SEC defense. And SC had a very up and down New Year's Six day. Yeah, it was weird. Like usually they're either all good or like pretty much all bad. But they're a mix. Mississippi State losing, and then you have Georgia losing as well. But in Kentucky, of all teams, came out and got a victory, and that was very shocking. Penn State, I think ever since Mr. Franklin, Coach Franklin came out and said, we're trying to be elite. We're a great team. We're trying to be an elite team after they got beat by Ohio State. And ever since then, they just haven't taken the next level.
But I think that's very accurate. I think they are a very, very good program, and he wants to step up to that Ohio State, LSU, Alabama. He wants to be in that level, and they're trying to get there, and they're just not quite there.
And
sometimes you drop a game to a Kentucky.
When you lose a Saquon Barkley.
Yeah.
It hurts anybody because Saquon Barkley is a once in a decade, generational player. Yeah, once in a decade, man. It's crazy. So, Kentucky, I apologize to all Kentucky fans. I had you guys getting shellacked. And that did not happen. So Kentucky, great way to end your program. And now recruits can come in like, hey, look, we did a Penn State. Come on, man. Come on out, baby.
Very good for their career.
So, very good. So big up to Kentucky, man. So that was our New Year's Six kind of games. Let's talk about the Saturday games, the playoff games, the one that really, really, really mattered. We had number 1 Alabama and against number 4 Oklahoma. We had number 2 Clemson against number 3 Notre Dame. And here we go. Let's talk about Clemson versus Notre Dame.
Is there anything to talk about?
Yeah, I know, right? I mean, we didn't even put anything in our notes. It was
bad.
It was
bad.
At first, it was competitive. At first, the first quarter.
The first half.
Yeah,
the first quarter.
Yeah, first.
Because it was 3-3 tied up until around the probably 8-minute mark in that first quarter, and then you saw Trevor Lawrence and company just take control for the rest of the game.
Notre Dame, I just thought their offense. I mean, they look good against teams like Virginia and Virginia Tech and that kind of stuff, man. I didn't play Virginia, but Virginia Tech and Pitt. But when you play against the big dogs, that was my whole thing. Now, you couldn't knock them for being undefeated. I mean, they're undefeated. You got to throw them in there. I understand that. They're 11-0, I believe. So you got to throw them in there. But I was like, man, the one team I just had no faith in at all was Notre Dame out of all these 4 teams. Now, I would rather Ohio State in there. But that didn't happen as well. But Notre Dame, being undefeated, you had to put them in. And now the committee's like, Brian Kelly, another big game, and another flawed performance. So was this more of just Notre Dame not being ready, or Clemson just being that good?
I just think it's both. I think Clemson is that good, and Brian Kelly just kind of has that pedigree. He is a good coach. He's not a great coach. Yeah. He will. You can have all the regular season wins you want, but he doesn't win in crunch time. He doesn't win in the postseason.
Yeah, we saw him against Alabama in 2011. They just got shellacked.
Even going back to Cincinnati, when he was at Cincinnati, when they in their bowl games were always, you didn't know if they were going to win or not. They played in a small conference. They won a lot of games with a lot of points. And they would get into the ball games and just not show up.
Yeah. Look, Clemson is the overall better team. Now, if I had my choice, I'd have put Ohio State and Oklahoma in and take Notre Dame out, regardless of the undefeated record or not. Because we all consensus, me and you both consensus, we want to be nice. Like, okay, well, what shot does Notre Dame have against Clemson? Do they have a shot? But everyone has a shot. But at the same time, you're like, this team can't compete. Because I was like, why is Notre Dame? My whole thing was, okay, once the top 4 teams, that's fine.
Yeah.
But why is Notre Dame number 3? That's my thing. Why are they number 3? Why were they number 4? I wanted to see, because I was like, what if Notre Dame does beat Clemson? I for sure don't want to see Alabama versus Notre Dame. Oh, no.
I think the committee was really just trying to avoid this result, because if you put that Notre Dame squad up against Alabama, that was a murder waiting to happen.
I was like, just get rid of them early.
So they wanted to have a better game against the Clemson. And you're thinking especially terrible with Clemson being down their best defensive player.
Yes.
That's
it was there for them. But then again, there's still more star players in that Clemson defense there, especially the front 7. Their secondary is a little, but the front 7 is amazing. So
might be time for a new coach up in South Bend.
Might be, maybe. I mean, hey, you made it to the playoffs, so I mean, let's slow down with that one. I guess they're saying, but yeah, Notre Dame gets slacked by a score of 30-3 against Clemson. Clemson is moving on. And who will they face? Well, we had number 1 Alabama versus number 4 Oklahoma. This was the matchup of the day, pretty much, of the weekend.
Of the New Year.
Yeah, we all knew Alabama, that vaunted defense, but now they have a special weapon in Tua Tagovailoa, whatever.
Tagovailoa.
I'm going to mess that name up ever. Tua is their special weapon. They haven't had a quarterback this good ever.
Period.
And what about his ankle? We didn't know how his ankle looked like. Well, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? His ankle was just fine. Oklahoma, look, it shocked me when I heard Oklahoma was ranked number 130 in total defense. 130? What is going on? 130? I mean, you got teams like probably Vermont better than them.
This is how it rolls.
They won the game, so needless to say, they won the game. Now, they came up there with the Heisman Trophy winner, and that added more fuel to Alabama. They say, you know what, dude, you stole that. We're going to show you, whatever. 28-0, that's all that matters. It started out 28-0, final score being 45-34. Oklahoma They try to make it competitive at the end, but you just knew it wasn't happening. Don't listen to all the announcers and the commentators. It's their job to make it seem like Oklahoma had a chance to come back. It's their job. But in all reality, this game was just done from basically the start, first quarter to the second quarter. It's 20, nothing like that. Beat up. What did we get it wrong? Did the committee get it wrong on the top 4 teams? I want to know how did you feel about it. Well, let's talk about Bama versus Oklahoma first. Talk about the game. How did you feel about it?
Definitely not what I expected, especially with Alabama also having defensive starters out. That's right, both number 1 and number 2 it was drug tests for Clemson and player violations or team violations for Alabama. Starters out for both defenses, and you expected Oklahoma to score more points. You expected their offense to be that much better. I don't want to claim the Heisman curse necessarily, but that's another thing that people kind of talk about.
Right.
He did have over 300 yards passing and over 100 yards rushing, and accounted for 3 total touchdowns. So the man tried as much as he could, but the holes in that defense. You cannot play. You used to be able to play Alabama and not necessarily have to play defense because they didn't have a quarterback. They didn't have the aerial threat that they have now. Well, that's out the window. If you're not playing a defense against Alabama, you might as well go ahead and chalk that one up because now the offense is going to score points, and you know Nick Saban's got that defense ready to play every day. Every day, not just on Saturdays. And it was just, you wanted to think Oklahoma could come back, but in reality, Alabama was just too much for them.
Yeah, just a better team.
Do I think that the committee got it wrong with the top 4? No, I don't. I know that it was a blowout, and I know that Oklahoma and Alabama was not the best of the games. Could have been better. Oklahoma could have been a little more competitive early. But I don't think the committee got it wrong necessarily. I don't think... I mean, number 1, you have to honor conference champions.
Yeah.
Oklahoma is a conference champion. You have to honor that. Georgia was not. So, and then the Georgia came out flat against Texas. So, I mean, you don't want to see that in the playoffs either.
That's true. Yeah.
I mean, having Notre Dame in again, probably not the best pick, but you can't discount them being undefeated, especially when they don't have a conference championship because they don't play for a conference. I think you can kind of make an argument for putting the top 4 teams in more if the NCAA had a standardized, like, these are teams you got to play. You got to have this many things. You have to be in a conference. That way you could eliminate, these are conference champions, these are not. Right. These guys can be in, these guys can't. But we don't have it that way, which is fine.
Yeah.
Just give them more teams.
There you go.
Make the top 8 the playoffs.
Well, here's my thing. Yeah, who's excited about this whack weekend? The rest of the world.
Yeah.
The rest of the world. Everyone who wants to be the 8 playoff teams. Some say 6. I just think it's kind of odd. Just 8, it'll be fine. 8 playoff teams. The world's like, see what happened? We need more games to find out who's the really true champion, who's the best team to play against Clemson or Alabama. We all know that Clemson and Alabama are always going to be, they'll be there for the rest of the next decade, it feels like, the way they're rolling, these 2 teams. But outside of that, there's not a really clear-cut 3rd or 4th best team, in my opinion, in the future. But have 8-game playoff, and you never know, man. So those guys are like, yes, have bad games. And these games are super-duper close. The committee's like, you see what we did? The best 4 teams. We did it right. Now you're like, oh, this is kind of bad. You see Texas look good against Georgia. You just never know. So
Texas, Florida, maybe a playoff game.
Florida
would have been interesting. Ohio State and you could have had Ohio State and LSU. You could have had a lot of different scenarios. I mean, just a month ago, Michigan looked like they were going to be the 4th seed, and they were going to give somebody a real good game because their defense was on top of the world.
And they realized they were going to get slacked up by whoever they played.
In the bottom of the barrel, so you just never know.
Gotcha.
Get some more teams in the playoffs.
Well, we got Bama versus Clemson. Number 1 Bama, number 2 Clemson. That is going to be our national championship game. 4 years in a row now. They face each other off. Bama's up 2-1. Excuse me, up 2-1, and it's going to be a really good game, man. I think this is the reason why they let go of Kelly Bryant, got Trevor Lawrence in for this game right here. They're thinking long term ahead. They're thinking the championship game pretty much. That says your program is good. After 3 games, you're like, we want to win a championship. Let's get rid of Kelly Bryant, and we'll bring in Trevor Lawrence. Quickly, what do you see with this game going on, and who wins and why?
I see again a really good contest. I'm seeing this kind of like 2016, was it? The year that Clemson won the championship, where they were just big fight back and forth. Both these offenses are fantastic. Both these defenses are fantastic. And I see a lot of points scored, and whoever has the ball in their hands last, just like that magical Deshaun Watson drive, I think Clemson's going to have the ball in their hands last, and I'm going to go Clemson 34-31.
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good one. Bama versus Clemson. Like I said, once again, we've seen it before, but this time, got Trevor Lawrence. I'll tell you what, it will not be a blowout. I can almost guarantee that. Like last year was sort of out of reach. Kelly Bryant just couldn't throw the ball on him, and that was it. He couldn't throw the ball. They put 9 in the box and just dared him to throw. They couldn't stop. They couldn't stop the. They stopped the run, and Kelly Bryant couldn't pass. So now you put in Trevor Lawrence, a little different story. I'm like this. Is Trevor Lawrence still Deshaun Watson? Not the sort of talent, but he's got the skill and the skill players around him to make this work. But I think at the end, just a little bit too much Bama. I got Bama winning 30-24, and that score might not be as close as it sounds. So I'm going with Bama being back-to-back champions, but I am rooting for Clemson. Let's go, Clemson. So I'm sorry, I'm rooting for Clemson, but I got Bama winning this one 30-24. I just think too much depth, too much defense for Trevor Lawrence's squad. You thought Notre Dame defense was good. Wait till you see Alabama, And but that is our game of the week. The only game left. He's going with Clemson. I'm going with Bama. And what a journey. We have one more episode after this. It'll be the national championship talk. So it'll be the end of our second season. Another sad to report that, but then again, man, we're having a blast, man. So comment down below who's going to win, Alabama or Clemson. We want to hear your thoughts down. Let us know who you got going for this game, man. Any final thoughts, Dub?
Have a happy New Year, guys. Can't wait to see you back next week.
That's right, next week. And that'll be the last week. I don't want to talk about it. I know. But we'll see you guys next week, man, for Alabama versus Clemson. Let you guys know who won that, and we'll give all our thoughts and comments on that one final game, and probably a little more, too. So that being said, all sports fans, you guys know what time it is. For B-Dub, Brian Wilkinson, I'm Carlos Clayton. All sports fans, stay smart, stay educated. Peace.